Welcome, everyone, to Trend Micro Talks. I am your host, Erin Tomie, and today we're talking to Trend Micro Director of Threat Research, Pawan Kinger. Pawan, how are you doing today?
Not bad. Been pretty good, enjoying the lovely weather in Ottawa.
I'm glad to hear it's a bit warmer now. I would love to just start with you sharing a bit about your role here at Trend Micro.
Yeah, my role, it's usually a difficult question to answer for me because I do a whole bunch of things, primarily focused around threat research, but we work very closely with the product teams as well to translate what we are seeing in terms of threats, convert that into product detections and product features at times. And there's a lot about the protection piece and detection of threats that we deal with on a day-to-day basis. So it's all about threats.
Yeah, I'd say at Trend Micro, that's a good Trend Micro tagline. It's all about threats.
Yes, lots of hats.
So, Pawan, you joined Trend Micro in 2009 when we acquired 3rd Brigade. So, you started then in 2006. 2009, you became a trender about 14 years ago as we record this. How have you seen threats evolve since you became a trender back then? What were the biggest threats back then to organizations, and what are you seeing now in 2023 and beyond?
I think threats have evolved as the way computing evolves, right? So we saw everything was in data center, cloud was a new thing. When I started in cybersecurity, cloud didn't exist. So it was more about data centers, email compromises. Encryption was a basic issue. Like a company where I used to work, all our emails and everything was unencrypted, traveling over the network. And geez, so threats were really simplistic, kind of easy to protect as well. But with the computing changes over the years, or especially over the last 2 decades that I've seen myself moving to virtualization and then moving to cloud, and with cloud native, the nature of threats and even threat actors for that matter, they just keep chasing the changing nature of IT landscape, right? So they're changing, they're becoming more complex to detect. Like back in the day, executives of a company were a premium target for attackers, right? Now the new the new attack target is the developers in a company and IT administrators who hold this, the keys to the castle. So the threats are evolving, purely chasing the IT threat landscape. They're looking at the new kind of assets, new kind of secrets. So that's the big shift we've seen over the years.
Yeah, I think I've asked a few trenders this question, and I found that most commonly the answer is focused around how the number of attack vectors has just exploded. And kind of like you said, it's not just focused on the CISO or one person running IT. There's so many team members, and they're not just looking at the people in security. If anything, they're looking at everyone else who might be not as security minded, not as thinking about those kind of things in their day-to-day basis, and they're looking at where are all the different ways that I can get into this organization. And it's just evolved with computing as we've just, the cloud didn't exist, and now it's just everything has become so much more than it was when you first started.
Oh, geez, yeah. So first part about the complexity of attacks. It's really complex. It used to be every company, every organization would try to protect their perimeter real hard. Like if my walls are secure, over the years that perimeter has blurred and disappeared. Actually, if that's a fair way to represent that, the blurring of those boundaries really has made it very hard. Implementing zero trust has just changed the way you implement zero trust. The boundaries, it's one of my favorite topic these days. Talking about the boundaries in the cloud context, especially what is the boundary? Like who should have access, and should you have access at the tenant level? Should you have access at the provider level, or should you be within the application? Right. So that's the kind of shift we've been seeing. In terms of targets, same reasons like work from home has enabled attackers to target people who are usually at home. So their home networks, maybe I can target somebody's wife, for example, or the children maybe, and then they can get to me probably, right? And that's why we keep our home network segmented. So a big change in the way attackers are thinking. They're actually looking at attacking APIs, for example. They're looking at attacking machine identities instead of human identities. So back in the days, the attackers would target humans. Like let's target Pawan, for example. But they've changed. Like why target Pawan? He might notice something. He might not click on a link. Why not target some of the service accounts that he might be using, so that it goes all untracked. Yeah, big shift.
Yeah, it's interesting that you mentioned people looking at work from home and instead of looking at the worker, looking at their family members and their kids who especially are probably not thinking about being secure. And this talk specifically is being shared during the month of October, which is National Cybersecurity-Awareness-Month. And in 2023, the theme is protecting yourself and your business online, which is just trying to emphasize the importance of taking proactive steps to secure your online presence. And, going at what you had mentioned about friends and family who might be just, visiting using their network, what are some top tips you like to give friends and family when they ask you about how they can be secure themselves?
Right. It's one of the favorite questions I get asked when I meet people at parties and all, like, "Oh, you work in cybersecurity? What tips do you have for us, especially elderly people?" And I tell them, use your common sense. That's the first tip. If it doesn't sound right, don't do it. Basically, like if somebody sends you an email, if you see an email that says you just won $1 million, like, it's not true. Do not click on links that you didn't expect. Somebody sharing their vacation pictures, not a good idea, because if you don't know them, you don't want to see their vacation pictures either. So common sense is your best buddy. That's first thing. Do not click on links, etc. Do not accept any kind of invites. Like, I got a text from somebody, "Hey, I added you to this group. I just need this code. You'll receive this code on your phone." I'm like, "Thank you. You're adding me to a WhatsApp group," and he was trying to take over my WhatsApp, right? If I was stupid enough for that. Uh, Using common sense first. Second is really keeping the basic hygiene on your systems, using some basic protection like the anti-malware products. If you're using mobile phone or tablets, installing mobile security solutions, or even your laptops, basic antivirus, consumer antivirus solutions, they really help. They keep track on all the malicious links that are out there. So even if you end up clicking one, your kids may end up clicking one, it'll be protected. So that's the other piece I feel. And for especially people in like my kind of scenarios, like working, sharing the same network with the family at home, you're on the same Wi-Fi network, kids do kid stuff, right? They're playing games and they're on Discord and people are dropping links there. You want to segment yourself out of that. So keeping a separate segment for your work, the home work environment, it's very essential for a home worker.
Yeah, I think any base level of security that you can create for your home environment or your work environment will just ensure that if mistakes are made, links are clicked, and a child, as much as you can tell them how to stay safe online, sometimes things happen. So if you can bring that kind of base level up, then that sets you up well for protecting yourself in the future. So I think those are really good tips. I think common sense is your best buddy is a great catchphrase that everyone should keep in mind. And I really appreciate you just joining me here on Trend Micro Talks. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, Pawan.
Thank you, Erin. Pleasure being here. Thanks for having me.